If you want to see me draw this, like and subscribe and watch the whole video. Hey guys, so right here I am sketching the head and body, trying to figure out the right shapes and stuff to start off from. I decided to go with like a weird kind of oval shape for the head, and then I started with rounded rectangles and triangles for the different parts of the arms and fingers, and then I did ovals for the little eyebrow, or big actually, eyebrow spots where you'll see here the eyes fit under. I had to reshape his left, our right one a few times because it looked too big and out of place. So eventually I had to get a ruler and then figure out the right spots to put the eyes. So the mouth was actually a bigger problem than it should have been because I wanted it to look good even in the sketch, but it was actually a weird kind of angular shape. So instead of like a round kind of slimy shape like on a normal frog, since this is a toad and it's in the show he's a bit more grumpy and gritty, you gotta use more sharp angles to convey that. So I had to use I just had to keep reshaping it, and then later in the inking you'll see like well, obviously it goes really fast for you guys because you're watching a time lapse, but that took so long purely because I didn't want to mess up on the most important part of the drawing. So yeah, that was a big pain. And then the shape of the head, you can see I'm working on it right now. It started off way too round for, again, the kind of grumpy character he is. So I had to keep reshaping it to make it look somewhat angular, but not too angular for how he looks. Since he's a toad, he's still somewhat round. That sounds weird, but he has angle to him because of his personality, and that's just kind of how you show things through art. Here's the final sketch. In a minute you'll see me start the inking, so I'm going to start talking in a sec, so see ya. Just to be clear by things, I mean like personalities, so if you wanted like a more low-key, tired kind of emo character, you'd go with rounder and darker colors and things that would and outfits and hair and stuff that would kind of cover them up, so you'd have hair kind of draping over their face, or his, her, doesn't matter, or clothes that kind of conceal who they are and what they look like, and you'd be picking darker colors. But since he's kind of a out there grumpy guy, toad, whatever, obviously the original creator used a bit more angular, sharp edges mixed in with round toad-like shapes, so it doesn't look too much like right out of a fantasy story or something, and it's believable that he looks like a toad, but he went with brighter, unnatural colors so that you see, oh, that's alright, cool, he's probably very out there and loud and stuff like that. That's just things you gotta learn to expect and try to implement into art when you're working. Like, take for instance like a dragon or something. They're bright red, dark blue, light blue, white, black, any color that you can think of on the color spectrum, but they're still believable that it's real because they look like lizards, alligators, anything like that all mixed into one, and that's called creative realism. So yeah, it's a cool thing that I'm still trying to learn how to do and implement into my work when I start to create my own comic eventually down the line. So I'm gonna stop talking now and let you enjoy the rest of the video. I may come back, I'm still not sure yet. This is the start of the coloring, which is my favorite part, so I will be quiet and let you guys enjoy it. So see ya. By the way, all materials that I used will be listed in the description. Yeah, sorry, I know I said I would stop talking, but just to be clear, that brownish color that I'm using on top of the orange is shadows. I'm sure that you could tell that already, but I actually didn't even realize until I started this piece, but browns actually work really well as shadows for oranges. So when I finish, I'll let you guys see how that turns out. Also, I just remembered that I'll be back when I start coloring the background to explain something. So here we are, coloring the background in a second, but the smoke actually turns out really well. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the sky in the background, which is the blue that you'll see in a minute. I started off with a sky blue Copic marker, which looked good, and then I thought it didn't look good enough, so I added like light blue highlights using the Gulf Blue Artist Loft marker that I have. And then that was not working out, and I was like, oh shoot, what am I going to do to fix this? So then I got more markers that were light blues and started layering them, thinking that it was going to blend nicely into the clouds, or not clouds, sorry, smoke. And I was like, wait a minute, this just looks even worse. So then I just came to a decision and just went back over all of it in the Copic sky blue, which actually turns out really well in the end, which is good. And there's also some shapes in the sky which looks kind of strange but good at the same time. But all I can say from this is never underestimate your colorless blender. If you're an artist like me, I used to like almost never use it. I am going to use it a lot more from now on because it can save you from very big mistakes, because it can just desaturate lots of areas, which is nice. So here's the final piece, and I hope you enjoyed it.